with enough prep time. I'm hoping this is going to be the final in this particular series. I really hope so. In responding, because there's just a lot I want to respond to in this discussion. So, of Jody's Corner and Fatal J talking about their discussion of Superman. It's very heated. I wish I was there. I'd love to, be there discussing this. But they were just talking about the last thing. Please like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. I have to remind you to do that if you want me to continue doing these videos. And share if you can with the channels, with the people I'm responding to. So the last thing they were just speaking about, which was interesting, I thought, was whether Superman's a flawed hero. And because I didn't have much time, to kind of develop my thoughts on that. So for me, Superman can be flawed. There's nothing wrong with Superman being flawed. He shouldn't be perfect. But he should be incorruptible. And if something finally does corrupt him, it needs to be big, it needs to have consequences, and it needs to have stakes. So this guy should be incorruptible to the very end, and it has to take somebody doing something so terrible that he can take on a kind of more cynical kind of world view. So that's where I would say there is an aspect of him that it's not flawed in the same way that many other people supposedly are flawed, right? Or as maybe your average human is flawed. He's not flawed in that way, but he is flawed, I think, in terms of his emotions, in terms of being lost in the world, in some sense, like being an alien being among us. Even though he's integrated and become human like one of us, there is still a sense in which people fear him. People worry about what he can do. There are people in the governments who are suspicious of him, even if certain people love him. People in governments are like, well, hey, what can this character do? What is he capable? What if he turns evil one day? And he responds to all that because he's like, well, I'm just trying to live and do the right thing. Maybe I'm just a good guy trying to do the right thing. That's basically it. It's not my fault. I didn't ask for these powers. I didn't ask for these abilities, but I have them. So what better to do with them than, trying to help people, So there's that flaws. All I would say is there's dimensions to the character that I think it's unfair to just see him as this kind of perfect, like he's always happy, no matter what happens, he's smiling, and he never gets angry, he never gets frustrated or anything like that. That's not true. Superman gets frustrated, he gets angry, he gets scared, he fears for people's lives. He is not Dr. Manhattan, when Dr. Manhattan transforms into, from the character he was before, when he was just a scientist. When he transforms to Dr. Manhattan, and he's, that famous epic line is like, that was the last moment I felt fear, when he transforms finally to. That is not Superman. Superman is not like, oh, I'm so powerful and invulnerable and whatever that I don't feel anything, that I don't suffer, that I don't feel heartache, that I don't get jealous, that I don't, he's got those flaws. It's just that when it comes to like the important things, like saving a village of people from a tsunami, he'll always go there and do it. That's just him. If he knows that's happening and he can do something about it, he'll do it. The problem is it's like, how much of it can he do? It's one of the things Jor-El teaches him, is that if you, and I think it's just a kind of excuse for why Superman doesn't save everybody all the time. And Jor-El says, if you do everything for human beings all the time, then they'll get lazy and they won't do things that ordinarily they would have done for themselves. And it's one of the reasons Lex Luthor worries about the presence of Superman as well. But anyway, let me carry on with this discussion. It's very interesting. I'm going to try and go through a whole bit and see if I can just get through the rest of it.
You got the same mother freakers who will go watch a Superman movie and then go watch Fast and Furious and truly get a kick out of cars swinging on jungle vines.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that these people are on the same level of what you just broke down?
Yeah, but finish it though. Yes, I would say mostly yes, because those same people that watch Fast 9 and watch cars swinging on vines and falling out of helicopters with parachutes are me. I love and enjoy that too. But I also have in my brain, this is garbage. But let me turn my brain off real quick. They do it. They do it the same thing.
Okay.
What he's saying makes no sense. Again, Fatal J. I really take. There are different types of stories that you enjoy at different times, and certain people, they just want to see a fight scene. They want to see an epic fight scene. There's nothing wrong with doing a Superman film where he's the classical Superman, but he gets in a good fight with good CGI. There's no contradiction between those two things. You can have epic Man of Steel style action with Superman trying to save people and Superman trying to take the fight out of the city, but he keeps getting thrown back into the city, or Superman a Superman where he is the aspirational hero, but he still has to have a fight with somebody who's trying to destroy the earth. There's no problem, no contradiction. I know some people who are action heads will like the movie, and you'll still have the people who are traditional Superman fans who like the movie. No one's saying we want a Superman movie without big spectacle action. Of course we want that in a Superman movie. Second problem with what he's saying, just very quickly, is these people like Batman, these people like Wonder Woman, these people like Captain America, and they're more nuanced than Fast and Furious, and they still like those movies. So of course there's no reason why they wouldn't like a Superman movie as well where he's like that. So I don't get what he's talking about. That's an L.
They know what they're watching is nonsensical, but it's good entertainment nonetheless.
Man, we was having such a good discussion. I'm missing Super Chats.
Look at all that.
Man, they showing me love, bro. I appreciate it too. Much love you to you both, Fatal J and Jody Joe. But there are some people in the chat that's got to get checked. I got timed out because they think I'm coming after you, Fatal J, and I'm not, just disrespectful people. Well, let me say this. Moderators, only take out people who being disrespectful with the name calling. If they're name calling. Now, if they're just voicing their opinion, let them stay. Because we ain't going to be like the government that shut down what people say. That's dictatorship. This stream ain't going to last long because I just said that. And I got another super chat too. Let me see. John Paul with the super chat, $14.99. I gotta hit y'all people with some stuff. Thank you very much, man. Y'all showing so much love. This is a good live stream. Got my boy Jody up in here.
This might be the end of it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they'll go back to the discussion. So I might end it here if they don't go back.
That one from my boy Q, man. Jody, I want to thank you, man, for introducing me to Q. Q is dope.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
I really wish and pray his channel blow up in the movie review for Realm.
Yep, I think that's it. So
$14.99. Yo, Fatal J explained to Jody how Zack has put out shirts. I already did. And merchandise rebranded into Zack Snyder's Justice League using WB's characters and symbols. You definitely need legal permission to do that. Yeah, we already talked about that, John Paul. But thank you so much for the super chat. Jody, is there anything else you want to cover, my friend?
Just that, I feel like there's a huge world out there of Superman fans who saw Henry Cavill's Man of Steel and didn't like it because they didn't see Superman.
I'm one of them.
even the ones that was willing to give it another chance, when Zack Snyder made a mistake by making BVS instead of Man of Steel 2, which is Snyder's fault, they really pissed on Superman. So I don't think it's hard to say that any Superman fan who loves the canon character would watch Man of Steel, watch BVS, and watch Justice League and think that that is a hero's journey. That is a trilogy of films pissing on the character, and I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, true.
Is it difficult to say that we should have an alternate version of Superman? Because I know how you feel about Superman. Is it so hard to have
I'm going to say what I say
because maybe that alternate version can grow.
And then,
I know it'll never grow on you. But I'm just speaking.
I'm just going to say first, before even Jody responds, you can have an alternate version of Superman once you've established the normal, Superman, and then the impact of seeing an evil Superman or a Superman who plays by different rules or a Superman who kills or, all of that will have an impact. It will be like, whoa, hey, this Superman kills? Wow, well, what? And then it will be intriguing, like, oh, what different path did it take for this Superman to become, if something like Man of Steel, like some derivation of that came, where, you had the normal Superman, and then they did this alt-world Superman, where you see the first scene is Superman killing someone. It's like, whoa. And then you go back and then you see that Park Kent told him, oh, maybe you can let children die on a bus to hide your secret. And then it starts recontextualizing, oh, I see, because this Superman landed in an alternate universe where Park Kent didn't teach him well. That's interesting. That's evocative. That's like, whoa, I'm glad that this world has the proper, real Superman character, so that we know that we're lucky to have the inspirational Superman, because if Superman actually was raised by this other kind of Park Kent, this is what he could have become, right? That's interesting storytelling. Doing that Superman, doing the old world Superman first, just pisses on the character, as Jody said. So let's hear what Jody responds to this.
No, general. Isn't it okay to have an alternate version of Superman that people like?
Here's what it is, and it is okay. Fatal, 100%. It's okay to do an Elseworld story about Superman, but not the first introduction to the character, because you're confusing people now. You must establish the correct Superman, and then down the line you can release a different take on the Superman character.
What did I say?
What he did in his failure was he built foundations on non-canon characters and storylines. That's his first and hugest L that he made. Frank Miller was a terrible thing to go off of.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Which Superman you like better, the Man of Steel or BVS Superman?
Man of Steel all day. Man of Steel, look, I would have been okay with Man of Steel 2 if he Snyder switched it up on y'all, man. How do you feel about that, Fatal J? Knowing that he was going to make a Man of Steel 2, but made BVS, and looked like Superman was going somewhere, but then killed him.
Well, as I look into research, I saw rumors about a Man of Steel 2, but then it was a lady that worked with him. Like, this is a big wig woman. She said it was never going to be a Man of Steel 2. It was supposed to be like Man of Steel, then it was supposed to be BVS, then it was supposed to be Justice League, then it was supposed to be another, like a Batman movie or something like that. He was going to do a 5-arc movie saga, but it wasn't going to be solo movies. That was his whole plan. Like, I really thought that was genius, because that was
Why?
Why did he do Man of Steel? He didn't need to do Man of Steel then. That contradicts it. That's how I know that's bullshit. Because the first film was a solo origin film. That tells me he planned on creating solo characters.
That's true, but why would we need a Batman origin?
That's my point. No. Whoa. You do need a Batman origin. Whoa, yeah.
No. That's what I'm saying.
You do need one.
You think so? We don't have so many Batman origin movies.
No, listen to me. It could be a It don't have to be a Batman origin. Let me get my words right. It has to be a solo Batman film. You can't mix Batman and Superman in the second film.
Let me get what you first said. I agree with a solo Batman film.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with the origin. We already know this motherfucker.
All right, no origin, fine. That's fine, no origin. But what I meant was a solo film.
But that's why
a solo film that establishes the character and what this Batman is about.
In 06.
But we just got off the wave of Christopher Nolan's Batman. You know what I mean? So I can see why he did
Returns. I mean,
yeah,
I don't buy it. I know. I was covering the news back then, Fatal. But Man of Steel 2 was coming.
But there was two different actors. Why would you have another origin with the same actor? So it had to be an origin movie.
Okay.
It had to be a Superman origin.
What I'm saying is that he was definitely planning to release Man of Steel 2. I was covering it. I saw it. It was all out there, bruh. We're waiting for it to happen. And then BVS. What? What is this shit? And then it turned, and then you killed him. How do you make a story about us? How do you make an origin story about the hero and then in the sequel kill him? God dang. That's like Captain America, the first Avenger, and then in Winter Soldier, he's dead.
I agree.
That's like Iron Man dying in Iron Man 2.
I agree. I love BVS, but
that's crazy.
Me being a comic book head, you don't kill Superman unless he has his own Death of Superman movie.
Yeah.
Which is one of the biggest comic book events known to man. Shout out to Masker Shy Giotto with the $5 super chat.
This is a different thing, but I actually, it's kind of weird. I didn't mind Superman dying in BVS at first because I thought it added unexpected stakes to that movie, which I kind of like enjoyed a little bit. But and also I don't find, I think Doomsday and that whole thing is a little bit overrated. Like if there was going to be a Death of Superman movie, it's like if you know Superman's going to die at the beginning of the movie, it's kind of boring, and then you're just watching Superman versus Doomsday, and you know, like for a whole movie, it's just like a boxing match for a whole movie between two relatively indestructible beings. I don't know how much I would have actually even liked that, to be honest. It may have been interesting. It may have been, depending on how it's done, but I think you would have been much better off either doing the classic Superman so that we care about him in BVS, and then allowing him, then killing him off, and possibly not having Doomsday. Like, if it had have been, it may have been more interesting if they had have got like Parasite or Bizarro, another Superman villain that Lex Luthor created. Rather than Doomsday, because Doomsday has his own particular origin that's nothing to do with that, and having them having it look like they've killed off Superman and he's not really dead, right? I thought that might have added some stakes to that movie, which you don't get in Marvel movies, which I think would have been interesting. But in general, I don't know. I don't. The whole Death of Superman, I've read that comic, and I don't know that I like it so much. It's a little bit overrated. It was a top seller because no one had ever killed off a major superhero like that before. But it was just a huge fight, essentially.
Actually, a pretty hopeful. That's why he struggles in such harsh settings like our world. Kent protected Clark because he wasn't mature yet. What do you think about that, Jody?
I do not think that he protected Clark. I think that he misguided Clark. So, our the way we see the film are different.
But look here, me and you both parents, bro. Would you protect your son?
Yes, I would. And
I know I would protect.
Son. And I would. Would you ever tell your son that he should let a school bus full of children die, knowing that he had the power to save them?
That's true. I give you that.
Anybody who does that is a terrible father. Say that right now.
I give.
True. No disagreement. No disagreement. And what I would say is that scene could have worked if it would have been like something like Pa Kent says that in like a moment of like, well, maybe you shouldn't let them die, you know, and then afterwards he says, you know, maybe by the end of the film, you know, like he comes back and he says, you know, I was wrong for telling you that you know, that was, you know, and then you find out that he says that was the proudest day of my life when you did that, and I should have told you that. And then you see, oh, that's why he goes on to start saving people and all of that kind of stuff. And also the other thing, like, is the death of Pa Kent. I've always said, again, if you read the script, I could probably see how it seemed like, with the benefit of hindsight, and I wish Zack Snyder would just admit it, like, I was wrong on that, you know, and then I'd respect it a lot more, because I think he's done masterful work with Watchmen and Dawn of the Dead, and I even like BVS to some extent, as I've told you, but the whole scene where he's leading up to when he sacrifices him, you know, like Pa Kent says, to keep your secret, you know, just don't save me. I think that scene could have worked if two things had have happened. First of all, the whole discussion in the car where Pa Kent is saying you should just remain a farmer, and you know, Clark Kent is saying, no, I want to be more, I want to do this. That should have been the opposite way round. Clark Kent should have had all of Pa Kent's dialogue, and Pa Kent should have had all of Clark Kent's dialogue. So Pa Kent should have said, look, I'm a farmer, I know that, I know I'm limited, but you can obviously do so much more, son. And he's like, you know, I just want to hide out with you guys, you know, or I just want to be a farmer. I just want to do my own thing, right? I don't want to, you know, I don't want this responsibility. I didn't ask for any of this. And you're not my father. You know, you're not my real father. You can't tell me what to do, right? And then Pa Kent is the one telling him, no, you've got to, I was wrong about the kids on the bus. I shouldn't, you know, I know that you're not ready, and that's what I meant, but like, you can't just completely hide from yourself. You've got to go out there and discover maybe what your purpose is, or find something that will make you happy in the world, you know, or something that, you know, more challenging than just being a farmer or just hiding from everything. And then, you know, Pa Kent tells him, you know, don't save me. I don't want you to, because I can tell from the conversation I had with you in the car that you're not ready to do whatever you're supposed to do in this world. And then Clark Kent thinks for a second, and then he goes to rush to save Pa Kent, but he's too late. That moment, that small moment of indecision where he's like thinking, oh, maybe I should listen to him, and then he's like, no, this is my father, and then goes and rushes off to try and save him, and by the time he's done it, it's too late. That would have been a powerful scene, you know, that would have been better, and again, it's with the benefit of hindsight, so I probably would have read the script as it is and filmed it as it is, so you know, and not realized until, when the audience sees it, that, that's bad. That's really bad. Let's listen to the last bit.
I give you that. Okay? Now, we're going to end it out. This has been an excellent stream. It's been fun. But I'm going to ask you a dope question since we talking about sons. And I remember we touched on the last live stream. And no, it might have been on somebody else's live stream we talking about. If you was that woman from The Good Son, and you had your son who was evil than a mother freaker, and then you had a total stranger, but you know he was a good kid, and y'all were both hanging out, what would you do? That's a hard question, bro.
You know what? I'm gonna try to answer that to the best of my ability.
That's a hard question, bro.
I am dropping that good kid. That good kid all them rocks, bro. It's a wrap for him. I am not letting my blood fall, and I'm not gonna be.
Jody, you know what? I'm gonna have to pick your answer too because
yeah,
that's my son, bro. You know?
Hey, I could change him. I could try harder,
bro. Pull out that belt and get to work. You know what I'm saying?
Get that belt and start lacing him up.
And put him in one of the military schools. You know what I'm saying?
Yup. I'm telling you, take him to a black family. Watch him come out good on the other side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jody,
I can't let myself.
All right. Seems like it's the end of the discussion. All right, that has been epic. Thank you very much for listening, and please like, subscribe, discussion. This has been epic. This has been great. My next video, I'm actually going to be responding to a Grace Randolph video of her rankings of all of the best DC movies. And then I'm going to be giving my ranking of the DC movies afterwards. So thanks again. Really appreciate your time. And yeah, like as I said, I know we're in difficult times, struggling at the moment. So I hope this kind of entertains you a little bit. These stupid discussions about superheroes, because they're not really that important. But, you know, I love stories. You love stories. So good.